My project is about are senior males or females more prepared for the real world? I got this idea because I'm a senior and a lot of adults like to ask you questions about your future and how prepared you are and what college you want to go to and etc. So I thought this was a great idea to see how many seniors actually do think that they're prepared for the real world. So my null hypothesis is there's no association between senior male and senior female results. The alternative hypothesis is there is an association between senior males and senior females results. So my design for this project is I went to civics and economic classes and I had to randomly sample these. So what I did was I emailed all 4 civics and economics teachers and only 3 wanted their class surveyed. So I put the teachers' last names in alphabetical order, so McConnell, Nosbish, and Mr. Rhodes. And then I numbered their classes by period in numerical order. So it went through numbers 1 through 9. And then I put all those numbers in a hat and I drew out 4 numbers, and I got Mr. Nas's first period, Mr. McConnell's first period, Mr. Rhodes' first period, and Mr. Rhodes' second period. So I created an online survey with 10 questions. So the first question is, please select your gender. So male or female. Do you know how to pay taxes is one of my questions. Do you know how to balance a checkbook? Do you know how to write a check? Do you know how to change a flat tire? Do you know how to change oil in a car? Do you know how to pump gas? Do you know how to jumpstart a car? Do you know how to cook a nutritious meal for yourself? And do you know how to do laundry, washing and drying? And all of these questions are yes or no. After gathering all my responses from my 4 classes, I ended up with 60 responses. 30 were male, 30 were female, so it worked out perfectly. After all the data was collected, a scale from 0 to 9 was created. So depending on the individual response of each question, so yes or no, they were all yes or no questions, you got basically 1 point for a yes. So you could get 9 total yeses, and that would mean you are most prepared. So, or you got 0 yeses, and that would make you very unprepared. So I made a scale, so 0 to 2, 3 to 5, and 6 to 9, and these are all yeses. So these are the number of yeses each individual person has within their response. So I made a tally chart. So there were 0 unprepared males, so that's really good. There were 7 males that answered yes between 3 to 5 times of the 9 questions, and there were 23 males that answered 6 to 9 yeses within the 9 questions, which is very good. We had 1 unprepared female. We had 18, which is the majority of females answer 3 to 5 yeses of the 9 questions, and there were 11 very prepared females that answered yes 6 to 9 times. So these two are the 2 graphs that I used, and this is the tally chart. So this graph is a bar graph, and it basically compares the overall data between males and females. The pink is the females and the blue is the males, and this is how many total for each question. So this says question 1, question 2, question 3. I know it's kind of hard to see. So how many yeses total, female and male, but they're split up, they had on each question. And the other bar graph down here, this is from the tally chart, and I just sort of graphed it. So for each scale, so 0 to 2, 3 to 5, and 6 to 9, I graphed how many tallies were in each one, either male or female. So male is blue, female is pink. So one of the questions is any bias. So I said there's possibly there definitely is non-response bias because I went to 4 different classes and only 60 of the 60 people responded out of 4 classes. There's about 30 people in each class, so there was definitely some non-response bias, probably out of laziness, not wanting to type in the link. Also, the questions could have been biased. So if you remember back to my questions, a lot of them were about changing oil in a car, changing tires, how to jumpstart a car, and according to the results, it seems that a lot more guys knew how to do those car things, and the women really didn't know how to. So there was a really drastic difference between the answers of those questions, which sort of makes sense. Like, a lot of the guys that I know definitely like working on cars more than I do. So, and I only surveyed civics classes, which really worked for my survey because all the students in civics and economics classes are seniors, and that's who I was definitely targeting. So, I mean, I could have definitely tried to incorporate a bunch of different subjects, but this was definitely one that worked easiest for me. So this is the test I used. I used chi-square, and this was used to determine if there was an association between the males and females' responses and who's more prepared for the real world based off their answer choices. So after making the tally chart that I showed earlier, I plugged that tally chart into Matrix, and I found a p-value of 0.006, a chi-square value of 10.075, and a degrees of freedom of 2, and our alpha is 0.05. So since the p-value is smaller than our alpha of 0.05, which means we basically reject the null hypothesis, so there definitely is an association between the two, between senior males and senior females' responses. So what does this mean? This result shows us that senior males seem to be more prepared for the real world than senior females. So why do I say that? In the tally chart shown earlier, the amount of yeses the males had were mostly between 6 to 9 yeses, which means prepared. And the majority of females answered yes between 3 to 5 times out of the 9 questions, which is kind of prepared. So that's why the males association and females association is definitely. Thanks for watching.